Hey guys, it's Dr. J again, and let's do a bit of a deep dive into the dangers of exogenous testosterone, or TRT, Testosterone Replacement Therapy. I really want to kind of zoom in and take a moment to take a deep dive into this because I think it's a really important topic, because so often I get men who are coming into my clinic, and whether they have been improperly prescribed testosterone, whether they are not being monitored properly, or whether or not it's something that they've taken on themselves and have gotten themselves into a lot of trouble with. I see a lot of guys who are on testosterone who really either didn't need to be or shouldn't have been in the first place. So that's why I'm making this video, and that's why I think it's a really important topic for me. Before we get into that though, I really want to express, I really understand that desire to feel your old self again, to regain that energy and that vitality. And I get that that can feel really overwhelming for a lot of us. I mean, I think especially as guys, when we are entering the workforce and we are forced and asked to perform at a very high level. Maybe you're running your own business and you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you are a creative person and you are finding that it's more and more difficult for you to get those creative juices going, to get into character if you're an actor, or to perform your art, whether you're a musician or otherwise. And for a lot of us, we're young or new parents as well. And so balancing the challenges of being a father, being a husband, being a partner, and buying your own first home and making sure you're taking care of it and your family, and at the same time taking care of work and making all that money. All of those things can feel really overwhelming, and that's what leads us a lot of us to burnout. And for some men, that leads them to considering testosterone replacement therapy or exogenous testosterone. But I think that it is a crucial point that I want to make here, is that we need to know and understand the potential risks before diving into a treatment like TRT. And we also need to understand what the other potential opportunities are, and really thoroughly investigate or understand why we've gotten to that point in the first place, and whether or not there can be underlying processes that may be at play here that testosterone isn't the primary thing that we need to be addressing, or it's not the first thing. The testosterone issue or lower testosterone issues or seemingly low testosterone issues may actually be more surface, and deeper to that are more fundamental underlying mechanisms. So first and foremost, let's talk about why you might be considering TRT in the first place. I mean, the most common symptoms like fatigue and low libido or erectile dysfunction, these seem to be some of the most obvious ones. And low testosterone is a big topic amongst men, of course. But there are so many other things that can come along with that, and a lot of other overlapping symptoms. If you've made it this far in the video, we've already talked a little bit about burnout and that the challenge of managing sort of work-life balance. So burnout, fatigue, low energy, poor focus and concentration, obviously all the sexual difficulties as well. All of those are associated with high stress, high performance environments. But here's the catch. A lot of these symptoms can be indicative of other things that are going on as well. And it may not be low testosterone, or it might not only be low testosterone. So poor sleep, nutritional imbalances, these are just a few of those other things that we might have to consider. And this is part of where some of this real danger lies. Without a comprehensive evaluation, if we're blindly starting testosterone, a very powerful and important hormone that manages a lot of important processes in our bodies, this can lead to really serious consequences. It's like fixing a leaky faucet when the problem is a burst pipe somewhere else in the house. And so TRT is obviously not without risks. Some of the potential dangers include, probably most importantly, a dramatically increased risk for cardiovascular problems like heart attacks and strokes. And so if you're not truly testosterone deficient, introducing more, especially exogenous or synthetic hormones into your system can throw off your body's balance, that delicate balance, and really throw you into chaos. It also can lead to a lot of other issues much further down the line. And we can talk about long-term issues associated with TRT in another video. But those aren't the only things that are the problem. In a previous video, and I'll put the card here for those of you who haven't seen our previous video, but increased testosterone production or increased use of testosterone is also going to lead to the overproduction of sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG. And so as we've discussed in a previous video, SHBG is responsible for grabbing onto and hiding or binding testosterone, rendering it useless. So what often happens over time with TRT is that that level or that dosage of testosterone that you've been using may initially feel really great, and that may be exactly what you needed. But what happens is you eventually need more and more and more because your body's compensating by producing more sex hormone binding globulin as well. And so as your dosage gets higher, so does the likelihood of your side effects, so does the likelihood of heart attack and stroke. And so what's really alarming, I think, for me, is that a lot of doctors are prescribing TRT without thoroughly assessing a patient's entire hormonal profile. And a lot of doctors are relying solely on total testosterone, which, as we've discussed again in a different video, that doesn't provide the whole picture. In fact, testing total testosterone on its own is next to useless without those other without those other four tests that are so important to understanding the context of your testosterone levels. So again, if you haven't seen that video on the 4 tests that we need to have instead of or in addition to total testosterone, I'll put a card up here and you guys can click through and watch that video first, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. TRT and exogenous testosterone can be a lifesaver for those who genuinely need it, and it can help men feel a lot better. But it should always be approached with caution and only after thorough evaluation of your hormonal profile. So what's the takeaway from this video here today? If you're considering TRT, make sure you've explored all the possible causes of your symptoms, evaluating testosterone deficiencies or low testosterone, and considering exogenous testosterone or any other therapies that might boost testosterone or be expected to boost testosterone. This has to be an integrative and a holistic approach. We have to be thinking about all the different mechanisms that are involved and that have effects on and have impacts on testosterone levels. And again, we'll go into some of these in more detail in the future. We've got to have an experienced and licensed healthcare practitioner who is experienced in hormone management, who's going to run the right tests for you, including those free testosterone, bioavailable testosterone, sex hormone binding globulin, and then calculate that free to total ratio that we've talked about in previous videos. So make sure that you've got all those resources in play and that you're examining all the different mechanisms that could be contributing to your symptoms, okay? Remember, your health does matter. It is important for you to self-advocate and for you to make sure you're getting the right data so that you can make the most informed and safe and effective decisions about TRT or anything else around your health. In other videos in the future here, let's talk a little bit more about how we can optimize testosterone safely without the use of exogenous testosterone or TRT, and how we can make sure that we are staying safe while we're doing all of that. So that's it for today. I just wanted to come here and make sure that we are all paying attention to the risks that are associated with TRT. If you've got questions or concerns, don't hesitate to drop those into the comments here, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. If you're looking for other tips on how to optimize testosterone, or you need more information about what we should be testing instead of total testosterone, and if you've only got a total testosterone test available to you, it's time for you guys to get a more comprehensive look at those hormones. So don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button and learn a little bit more from our previous videos about TRT, exogenous testosterone, and optimizing testosterone in general. Hope you guys are awesome. I'm Dr. J. I'll catch up with you guys soon.